Chapter 23. The officer led Rini to the empty cafeteria. Greta, Artie, Sean, and Sandy sat at a long table at the back. A tall, skinny man wearing a gray suit stood behind them. "Sit down," Officer Jackson ordered. Rini joined her friends at the table. They exchanged worried glances. "This is Detective Frazier," the police officer stated, nodding toward the other man. "He's got some questions for you." The detective sat down at one end of the long table. Rini felt her face burn when his eyes met hers. "I understand. You kids like to play tricks on each other," Frazier declared. "That right?" "They're only jokes," Artie stammered. "It's all for fun." "Which one of you is Maureen Baker?" Frazier asked. "I am," Rini answered, "but everyone calls me Rini." "You held a Christmas party at your house last night." "Yes." "And you played some of these tricks on each other." Rini nodded. Why are the police questioning us, she wondered frantically. What do they think we did? Are they this upset because they think we made a prank call? "I want to hear from each of you." Detective Frazier turned to Artie. "Tell me your name and what happened last night." Artie told him everything. They planned to play a joke on PJ, and they thought they had pulled it off, only to have PJ pull an even better trick on them. "That is what happened?" the detective asked, gazing at Sean. "Yeah," Sean replied, "exactly." "We always try to scare each other," Greta explained. "It's a game." "So, PJ appeared to be dead." The detective glanced around the table. "Yes, and he scared me to death," Sandy confessed. "What about the rest of us?" Rini thought bitterly. Sandy didn't have to haul PJ down the stairs. I didn't think he was breathing," Artie said. "Sean and I tried to do CPR," Rini volunteered. "So, you carried him down to the basement, but when you checked about 5 minutes later, he had disappeared," the detective said. "Is that your story?" "Story? Why did he call it a story?" Rini wondered. "Doesn't he believe us?" "That's right," Sean replied. "And we were upstairs for only about 5 minutes, and PJ was gone." Detective Frazier listened as each of them told the same story. He repeated the same questions to each of them. "Why are you asking us all this?" Sandy demanded. "We didn't break any laws. It was a stupid joke." "Afraid it isn't a joke," the detective replied somberly. "We found PJ's jacket in the Fear Street woods, near the lake. His sister claims he didn't come home last night." Rini felt her heart skip a beat. He's really missing?" she asked shrilly. "Yes, he's missing," Frazier replied. "Maybe somebody's joke went a little too far." Chapter 24. "We're worried about what happens to your friend," Detective Frazier told them. "I'm giving you each my card. If you remember anything you haven't told me, important or not, call." By the time the detective finished with them, school had let out for the day. "What could have happened to PJ?" Greta asked, as they drifted over to the parking lot. Rini didn't know what to think. Why would he have been in the Fear Street woods after the party? "It doesn't have anything to do with us," Sandy insisted. "We played a joke, that's all. PJ got into trouble after he left the house." "Sandy is right," Sean agreed. "As soon as we left the basement, he probably sneaked up the stairs and out the back door. Then—" "Do you think maybe somebody murdered him?" Artie asked. He swallowed hard. Rini caught the fear in his eyes. She shuddered. "Hold on," Sean urged. "Why are we assuming the worst? All we know is that someone found PJ's jacket in the woods. PJ could be fine." "Yeah," Artie agreed quickly. "PJ could be fine." "The police don't think he's fine," Greta pointed out. "And neither does Liz," Rini told him. "I heard her tell Ty that PJ had vanished. Even the police said he never returned home last night. What if they never find him?" "PJ has been missing for almost a week. I heard the police are planning to drag Fear Lake for the body," Rini said. She slammed her trig book shut and flopped back on her bed. "It's making me crazy. All I can think about is PJ. I'm going to flunk all my classes." "I know," Greta replied from Rini's desk. "I keep wishing we hadn't played that stupid trick on him. I wish I'd taken the time to hang out with him after the party. We had some good talks, you know." Rini sighed again and stared down at the cover of her trig book. "What problem are you on?" "The fourth one," Greta answered. "But I'm not working on it. I'm just trying to understand it." "Yuck, that problem? I couldn't do it either. We need Sean." Rini tossed her book on the floor. "I wonder if we'll ever find out what happened to PJ?" "Maybe not," Greta replied. "Sometimes people disappear. That's it. Nobody ever sees them again. Rini shivered. She hated the idea that people could vanish, poof, as if they had been snatched away to another planet or something. Rini decided she didn't want to talk about that. You know what you're getting for Christmas? She asked, determined to change the subject. Greta stood up and stretched. Huh? Oh, Christmas. I haven't thought about it. I guess I'm not in a holiday mood. Why not? Besides the obvious, I mean. I've decided to break up with Artie. No way, Rini gasped. You've been a couple forever? I'm fed up with him. He's spending all his time with Mark, and he's going to drop out of school. I thought he had it with Mark, Rini protested. I mean, after Mark ran off and left us at the party, when everybody thought PJ was dead? That lasted about 2 days, Greta rolled her eyes. It's as if he's addicted to Mark or something. He can't stay away from him. Maybe Artie's going through a weird phase? Rini sat up and began French braiding her hair. Have you checked his horoscope? She teased. Greta didn't smile. He wants to work at the auto plant with Mark. He wants a car like Mark's. He claims school's a waste of time and college is for spoiled rich kids, Greta told Rini. Does that sound like just a weird phase? Rini shook her head. Sorry, Greta. When are you planning to tell Artie you're breaking up with him? Every day I promise myself I'll do it. Then I wimp out. What do you think he'll say? Rini asked. I don't know. Greta lowered her eyes to the floor. It's going to be so hard to tell him. She sat down on the bed next to Rini. I should do it now. I'll feel better once I get it over with. Come with me, please. We're not getting any work done, and I need moral support. How can I help? I can't tell him for you, Rini said. I don't want you to tell him for me, Greta insisted. But if you're with me, I know I won't back out of it. I don't know. Is it fair to Artie? How is he going to feel if you break up with him in front of me? Please, Rini, I need your help. It's driving me crazy pretending everything is great between us. I have to tell Artie the truth. Okay, Rini agreed. Thank you. Greta squeezed her hand. I really appreciate it. They grabbed their coats. Hurry, Greta urged Rini. I don't want to chicken out again. They jumped into Greta's little Civic. Greta appeared more and more nervous the closer they got to Artie's house. She sped down Old Mill Road. Stop sign, Rini called. Stop sign? Greta screeched to a halt. Sorry, didn't see it. Rini felt relieved when they finally arrived. I think I'll volunteer to drive on the way back, she decided. She followed Greta to Artie's house, walking carefully on the icy walkway. Greta hesitated outside Artie's door. Then she took a deep breath and rang the doorbell. Artie opened the door almost immediately. Grease streaked one side of his face. Hi, come on in. I saw you pull up. I was out in the garage with Mark. We're working on his car. Greta sucked in another deep breath. I want to talk to you about something, Artie, but not in front of Mark, okay? He frowned. Sure. Let me tell him he's on his own for a while. Rini heard the back door open and close as Artie went back into the garage. I hope I can do this, Rini. You can, Rini assured her. I wish I knew what to say to her, Rini thought, but I know I'd be a mess if I had to break up with Sean. Greta started to say something, but stopped as a scream erupted from the garage, a high, ragged scream of terror. Rini and Greta dashed through the kitchen and out the back door. The scream grew louder, the most horrifying sound Rini had ever heard. Greta flung open the garage door. No, she wailed. Rini pushed her way into the garage. Greta and Artie stared at Mark's car. Rini felt an icy lump of fear slide down her spine. A body lay sprawled over the shiny red hood. Mark's body. Blood dripped from his mouth and nose, and his head. Oh, his head. It was completely twisted around on his neck. Completely backward. Chapter 25. Rini fell back against the garage wall. She didn't want to look, didn't want to see the body sprawled over the hood, the blood, the twisted backward head. But she couldn't turn away, and she couldn't stop herself from imagining what had happened. The muscle tearing, the neck bones cracking. Did Mark die with the first snap of his neck? Rini wondered. Did he realize what was happening to him? Rini gazed at Mark's face. His mouth was still twisted into a silent scream. His eyes were wide with fear. He knew, she realized. He knew. Finally, she turned away. She couldn't bear the horrifying sight any longer. Artie slowly backed away from the car, shaking his head. Mark, he was fine. Fine, he insisted. He was perfectly fine when I left him. Greta uttered a low moan, her eyes locked on Mark's mangled body. Rini felt lightheaded. She swayed on her feet. She had to concentrate to keep upright. Think, she ordered herself. Think. We've got to get out of here, Rainey blurted out. Whoever did this to Mark could be watching us right now. He was fine, Artie repeated. Putting in spark plug wires. He was fine 1 minute ago. We have to call the police. Let's go, Rainey ordered. Don't touch anything, she said, as she grabbed Greta by the arm and pulled her out of the garage, pushing Artie ahead of them. Once inside the house, they checked the locks on all the doors and windows. Rainey called 911. Then she sat down on the couch with Greta and Artie. It would take a lot of strength, Artie said. Huh? Rainey asked. She felt numb. Artie's voice seemed to be drifting to her from far away. To turn someone's head like that, whoever did it was strong, really strong. You're right, Rainey agreed. Greta didn't make a sound. She stared blankly at the carpet in front of her. They had to be fast, too, Artie continued. Mark was only alone for about a minute. We didn't even hear him scream. Yeah, Rainey agreed. It's like our game, Greta muttered. Rainey turned and stared at her. What? Greta didn't answer. She rocked back and forth, her arms wrapped around herself. What did you say, Greta? Rainey demanded. Just like the tricks we play on each other, Greta answered in a sing-song voice. Except now, someone is playing for real. But who is it? Rainey wondered. First PJ, now Mark. Who's doing it? And then a frightening question pushed into her mind. Who is next? Chapter 26. Rainey glanced in the rearview mirror. Nothing unusual. Good. She gripped the steering wheel of her mom's minivan, squeezing it until her knuckles hurt. I wonder if I'll ever feel safe going out alone. It makes sense to be nervous, Rainey told herself. It's only been a week since Mark was murdered. Just concentrate on driving. In a few minutes, you'll be at the burger basket with Sean and Ty. Sean's car had broken down. Bad fuel pump, he informed her. So she had to give him a ride home from work. Ty, too. Liz had promised to pick up Ty, but she backed out at the last minute. She felt too afraid to go out at night. No one had been arrested for Mark's murder, and the police had no new information on PJ's disappearance, so the killer could be anywhere. Rainey pulled into the burger basket parking lot. She checked the area carefully. No one around. She climbed out of the van, locked the door, then hurried toward the entrance. Something moved, to her left. Rainey walked faster. Footsteps. Behind her. Rainey broke into a run. Hey, wait up! Rainey spun around. Sandy trotted up to her. What's your problem? Sandy asked. Didn't you see me waving to you? Sorry, you scared me. What are you doing here? The place closes in about 30 seconds. Sandy had bundled up in a big fuzzy black coat that went all the way down to her toes. Her breath came out in white puffs when she answered. I've come to give Ty a ride home. Huh? Rainey thought. Sandy and Ty. What's going on here? I thought he was going out with Liz? That's why I'm here, Sandy explained, smiling smugly. I think Liz knows more than she's saying about what happened to her brother, and I think Ty probably knows what she knows. Shouldn't you leave the investigating to the police? I just want to talk to him. What's wrong with that? Nothing, Rainey replied. I guess. I don't get it, Rainey thought. Why is Sandy so pumped about this all of a sudden? Rainey stared at Sandy, trying to figure out her new attitude as they entered the burger basket. Watch out, Sean cautioned. The floor is slippery. He swung a wet mop back and forth across the tiles. Is Ty here? Sandy asked. In back, straightening out the storeroom. He'll be done in a second. I'll wait, she told him. She tossed her coat into one of the booths. She had on a long blue sweater pulled over black tights. Sean mopped his way to the end of the counter and stopped. Whoa, floor's done. We won't be much longer now. As soon as we finish up in back, we can get out of here. Sean locked the door. We're officially closed, he announced. He slipped behind the counter and then disappeared into the kitchen. Sandy paced back and forth across the floor Sean had mopped, leaving little damp footprints. Rainey gave her a disapproving frown. Sandy didn't seem to notice. My hands feel all sticky, Rainey told Sandy. I'm going to wash them. Being careful not to mess up Sean's freshly mopped floor any more than necessary, Rainey made her way to the ladies' room. Rainey studied her face in the mirror as she washed her hands. I wouldn't mind being as great looking as Sandy, she thought, but Ty is a smart guy. Could Sandy really make him tell her things by flirting with him? Rainey dried her hands with a paper towel. She pushed open the door and hesitated. The restaurant felt deserted, kind of eerie, even with all the grinning Santas decorating the walls. Come on, Rainey scolded herself. Of course it feels deserted. There are only 3 other people in the whole place. Rainey hurried to the front counter. No Sandy. Hey, she called, where is everybody? No reply. Rini listened hard. Somewhere a small motor hummed into life. Probably a refrigerator, she thought. The restaurant remained eerily silent. Hey, Sean? Rini's voice echoed off the yellow tile walls. Her eyes darted around. Over the empty booths, the deserted kitchen area, Sandy's still damp footprints on the floor, the lighted menu board above the counter. Big cheeser, $2.89. Medium drink, $1.75. Ty, she called. The hollow echo of her own voice replied, followed by silence. A shiver slid through her body. Hey, Sandy, Rini cried. Where are you? Come on, Rini told herself. Sandy is in the back with Ty and Sean. Where else would they be? They'll all laugh if they realize how scared I am. Scared? Me? Just because someone murdered Mark and maybe PJ? Two people who came to my party, and who played the same game I always play with my friends. Why should I be scared? Another shiver swept through Rini's body. She marched into the kitchen. No problem. Nothing to worry about. The floor was still wet and very slippery. Stainless steel tables and counters surrounded her. The kitchen fan's big metal hood towered above her. For a moment, she felt lost. Where is it? Where is the door to the back? Then she spotted it, to her left. She turned, lost her footing on the slick floor, and fell, landing hard on the ceramic tiles. Rini shook her head. Boy, wasn't that graceful. Glad no one saw me. She shoved herself to her feet and screamed. Not again? Oh, please, not again? Chapter 27. Let this be a joke, Rini prayed. Let this be the sickest joke one of us has ever played. A pair of legs stuck out of a metal garbage can. Long legs and black tights. She inched closer to the garbage can and peered inside. Sandy, shoved face down in the hamburger buns, lettuce scraps, and stale french fries. Mayonnaise dripped down one of her black legs. Rini screamed again, screamed until her throat felt raw. Feet pounded toward her. Sean and Ty burst through the door. What's wrong? Sean demanded. We were out back. The lid on the garbage can. Sandy, Rini choked out. She's... Rini pointed at the garbage can. It's Sandy? Sean and Ty rushed to the garbage can and tipped it onto its side. Sandy slid onto the tile floor in a pile of soggy lettuce, paper napkins, cardboard hamburger boxes, and half-eaten food. Wow, Ty murmured. Wow. Rini turned cold all over. Sandy's eyes stared blankly at the ceiling, but she lay on her chest. On her chest. Her head had been twisted around backward, just like Mark's, and her face held the same terrified expression, her blue eyes wide with horror. Chapter 28. 3 kids we knew were murdered, Rini said sadly. It's almost as if someone was out to get us, our friends, us. So, what did everybody get for Christmas? Artie asked the others hanging out in Rini's room. Artie, Greta moaned. Show a little sensitivity. Hey, I wanted to lighten things up a little, Artie replied. I don't know about you guys, but I could use a laugh. I'm sure it has something to do with our game, Greta stated. 3 people are dead, and they were all involved in one of our practical jokes. What other connection is there between PJ, Mark, and Sandy? I have an idea, Sean announced. It came to me while I was putting a new fuel pump on my car, and remembering what happened to Mark while he worked on his. Rini shuddered, trying to block out the image of Mark's mangled body. Tell us, Greta urged. I think PJ is the killer, Sean stated. But he's dead, Rini exclaimed. Is he? Sean asked. Anyone seen his body? He's been missing for weeks, Rini pointed out. The only thing the police ever found was his jacket in the woods. He has to be dead. No, wait, I understand what Sean means, Greta said. PJ is out there hiding somewhere and killing us one by one. PJ? Artie shook his head. Come on, the guy is a wimp. He couldn't kill anybody. Think about it, Sean urged. He had a reason to want both Sandy and Mark dead. They played the biggest part in humiliating him. But how did he get into the burger basket? Rini asked. The door was locked? They exchanged glances. They talked about that for hours after it happened, but none of them knew the answer. I don't know how he got into the burger basket, Sean admitted, but someone managed to find a way. Why not PJ? He's very smart, Greta reminded them. PJ is really Houdini, Artie suggested. Back from the grave and roaming the streets of Shadyside. Rini glared at Artie. Do you want to be next? She demanded. Do you want to end up with your head twisted around? How can you joke about this? Sorry, Artie mumbled. Rini sighed. I'm sorry too. I've been going nuts thinking every person I see is the killer. I've even wondered about Ty." "Ty!" Greta cried. "No way!" "But he was in the burger basket when it happened, and we hardly ever see him anymore," Rini declared. "No," Sean protested. "I was with Ty from the time I left you and Sandy out front until we heard you scream." "He hasn't been hanging around with us because of Liz," Greta added. "They're together all the time now, and we know why Liz is avoiding us." "I think PJ is getting his revenge," Sean told them. "And maybe he's not finished. Maybe he's after all of us." "But where is he hiding all this time?" Rini demanded. "Maybe Liz is hiding him," Artie suggested. "He could be right there in his own house." "The police must have checked the house," Rini pointed out. "It's probably one of the first things they did." "Well, I think it's PJ, and I think he's hiding somewhere," Sean insisted. "Like in a cabin in the woods," Artie exclaimed. "There are a bunch of them out by Fear Lake. They're all empty. No one uses them in the winter." "What should we do?" Rini asked. "Go to the police?" "Why would they listen to us?" Artie demanded. "Artie's right," Sean agreed. "All we could tell them is that we think PJ's the killer and we think he's hiding somewhere. They wouldn't pay any attention to us." "So what do we do?" Rini asked. "Maybe we should take turns following Liz," Greta suggested. "She might lead us to PJ." "Let's try to talk to her first," Sean said. "Liz won't tell us anything that would hurt PJ, but we might be able to find out if she believes he's dead, and if she blames us." "Good idea!" Artie jumped up and began pacing around the room. "Because if PJ is the killer, I'm at the top of his list." "Maybe you should talk to her alone, Rini," Greta said. "You're the closest to her, and she's not going to say much in front of a group of people." Rini glanced from face to face. "They all want me to do it," she realized. "Okay, I'll try, but I'm sure Liz hates me after what happened at my party." A light snow began to fall as Rini pulled up in front of Liz's house on Fear Street. She put the minivan in park and sat there, reluctant to get out. She scanned the neighborhood. Snow covered the roofs of the houses and the lawns, making everything white except the windows. The windows seemed to stare at her like dark eyes. Rini shivered. "I don't like Fear Street," she thought. "So go talk to Liz. Then you can leave." Rini climbed out of the minivan and turned up Liz's front walk. Halfway to the house, a frightening thought occurred to her. What if PJ really is the killer? And what if he has been living in the house? What if he's waiting in there right now, waiting for me? The door swung open. Rini jerked her head up. Liz stepped onto the porch and stood there watching her. Uh-oh. Too late to worry about that now, Rini thought. "Hi," she called as she continued up the walkway. Liz didn't answer. She continued to stare at Rini, her expression blank, her arms crossed over her chest. Rini stepped up beside Liz. "What do you want?" Liz asked coldly. "Well, I wanted to talk to you. This is going to be hard," Rini thought. "This is going to be so hard." "What about?" Rini met Liz's hard stare. "I want to apologize. We all do. We didn't mean to hurt PJ. We didn't think anything bad." "My brother is missing," Liz interrupted. "He could be dead." "I know, and I'm sorry, but we were playing a joke, that's all." "Your apology isn't going to change anything. All I can think about is PJ. I keep imagining all the horrible things that could have happened to him. I keep picturing—" Liz's voice cracked. Rini could see tears in her eyes. Rini reached out to wrap her arm around Liz. Liz jerked away. She turned her back on Rini as she struggled to control her tears. Rini opened her bag and fumbled around for a tissue. She tapped Liz on the arm and handed it to her. "Thanks," Liz muttered. She sniffled. Then she straightened up and turned to face Rini. Rini felt tears in her own eyes. She hadn't spent much time thinking about Liz and how she must be feeling. Everything had happened so fast. PJ's disappearance, Mark's murder, Sandy's murder. "I should have talked to you right away," Rini admitted. "We were friends, right? I should have been there for you." Liz shook her head. "No, I don't want you around, Rini," Liz said softly. "I still don't. Every time I see you, I think about PJ, about what you did to my brother." "Can't you give us all another chance?" Rini pleaded. "Especially now with this killer on the loose? We all need to stick together." Anger flashed in Liz's eyes. "Go away, Rini. I know you're sorry, but I can't forgive you for what you did to PJ. Not ever." "Liz, Liz pulled open the storm door and dived inside. The front door slammed in Rini's face. "Do you think I should talk to Liz?" Greta asked. "Now that she's had a few days to calm down?" Rini hesitated. "She knows I got along with PJ," Greta continued. They turned the corner onto Rini's block. "You're right," Rini agreed. "I remember Liz wishing PJ would ask you out, but I don't think she wants anything to do with us." Greta and Rini hurried up Rini's driveway. My feet are freezing, Rini said. All that slush soaked into my shoes. I want to put on some dry socks right away. Rini unlocked the door. They tossed their coats into the hall. Mom, I'm home, Rini called. Greta's with me. You got some mail, her mother answered from the living room. I put it on your bed, and I made some Christmas cookies if you want some. Okay, thanks. Rini led the way to her room. You want a pair of dry socks? She asked Greta as she pulled open the top drawer of her dresser. No, my boots keep my socks dry. Greta plopped down on Rini's bed. Rini sat next to Greta and slid off her shoes. I wonder what this is? She picked up a long gray envelope. No return address? Open it, Greta urged. It doesn't look like junk mail. Too fancy. Rini tore open the envelope and pulled the letter out. She unfolded it and shook her head. Whoa. What? Greta demanded. I don't believe this. It's from Liz. She's inviting me to a party. Rini read the letter again. December 29th. Dear Rini, I've been thinking about what you said, and we do all need to stick together. I need my friends to get through this horrible time. So I've decided to have a New Year's Eve party. I know PJ is gone and that this has been a hard year for all of us. But let's put this year behind us and celebrate, and hope that next year is a better year for everyone. Please come. I'm inviting all my closest friends to my house around 9. Hope to see you then. Liz.